to Maine to Arizona and everything spooky in between. The nerds have you covered for all things unpleasant and ghastly. That's the wrong ghastly. Join nerds doing nerd things as they present to you Nerd-Tober.
Go.
What's going on, everybody?
You know the green light means go, right?
I do know the green light means go, but here's the issue. There was an audio glitch, completely my fault, when setting everything up, recording Child's Play about, I don't know, maybe a month ago. So we're getting that out of the way. So we're going to do a live episode tonight, so it still happens. And surprisingly, Mr. Wrestling Guru is here once again. This time, hopefully, you can hear him. So
you idiot!
Hey! Don't bury the lead here yet. And then my wonderful sleepy co-host, it is Miss Susie. How are you, Miss Tired?
Dude, I'm in 2 days into a new job, and I just want to sleep all day. But I got to leave my hair down at work, and it was awesome.
Currently waiting to make sure I hear him. Yay! Woo! We hear Ryan! I will gladly take the you idiot part. Gladly take it. But we're talking about 1988's Child's Play, and for what I remember, Ryan, this is your favorite horror movie. Why don't you go into how many times you've watched it and some of the main parts of it that grab your attention?
Well, to try to remember how many times I've watched it, it would be really hard because I wore out 3 VHS tapes as a kid watching this movie.
Do we need to explain what VHSs are for our younger audience here?
No. No, if you don't know what a VHS is, please go Google it, because I'm not explaining that to you. But I really don't want to relive my childhood of having to rewind every time I wanted to watch something.
Be kind, rewind.
To the point where I had a VCR that if you let it go to the end, it would automatically rewind. So I would purposely leave it playing so it would auto rewind.
I had a separate tape rewinder thing.
Yeah.
What about this kind of? What about this movie, Fry, grabbed you from like the first viewing? What about it?
I'm gonna go with because I was 3 or 4 watching this movie religiously. It was the idea of a walking, talking, real life doll that just so happened to kill people, but he did it in surprising. He was one of the. It was a doll with a jump scare, but it wasn't like it's overdone today.
Yeah, there were a couple in there. Like you heard him walk, and you're like, "Where the fuck is he?" Heard him walk again. Okay, where the fuck is he? And then boom, hammer out of nowhere, bitch out the window.
Yeah, like the POV shots of this whole movie is what makes it. The idea of filming from his point of view, running through the hallway.
Yep.
Makes that whole scene way more intense than what it actually is.
Susie, we just watched it for the first time about a month ago.
I'm gonna say something to Ryan's to your comment, not Ryan's comment, your comment about you hear his footsteps. Where is he? Hear his footsteps. Where is he? I just spent a week with a toddler. You hear his footsteps. Where is he?
And then he just disappears out of nowhere, and you're just like, shit.
And half the time he was with a human. Like I didn't actually like lose him, but it's okay. Where'd he go? Where's the tiny footsteps?
Well, I'd hope he was with a human.
Oh. So that's literally you were describing that, and that was all I was thinking was the number.
You were
a 4-year-old.
You guys were just in an area with like rodents running around scot free and dogs walk on their back legs and all that stuff.
You know how hard it is to explain to a 4-year-old that you can't go near the water because of alligators and snakes.
But I want to go swimming. Not in there, you don't.
Hey, I had a 28-year-old who wanted to go swimming with them, and I told him I wasn't rescuing him.
Okay, so back to the movie, Susie. We watched it, you and I, about a month ago. Kind of what was your initial thought to the premise of the movie? Murderous person does voodoo to get into doll, becomes murderous doll.
So I like the premise of the movie. One of the things that like I always hesitate to watch like these doll movies just because like they get a bad rap. And they do. Not for any other reason other than nobody wants the doll in their house. Like you really can't do any marketing stuff for this because nobody wants the doll in their house.
I'm gonna call bullshit because as a kid, I wanted a good guy doll.
Yeah, okay, but you're twisted enough to want that.
Yeah, I want to meet a jackass that wants Annabelle. Because that's a nope.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, see?
No.
But like I think the premise was good. I think see, I'm comparing it to movies of today where I prefer the older style movies. Now, there are some old horror or scary movies that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because I think the updated CGI, the updated, everything makes it better. But for like Chucky, it had to have been done in that era because it adds something that today's technology wouldn't.
Yeah. There was a lot more stuff that they had to do hands-on instead of, just let a computer do it. Just let a computer do it. And I think that's a nice feature that older movies have. And what really pulled me into this was, I grew up with Toy Story, and then I see this, and I'm like, what happens if Woody and Buzz just went straight psychopath and just straight murdered everybody? And I was like, oh, great. Now I can never watch that movie the same again.
Like, literally, all you have to do is think of the who's the guy with the axe?
Who's the guy with the axe?
Yeah, the guy with the axe.
In what?
In Toy Story 2.
It's not Stinky Pete?
Stinky Pete! That's who Chucky reminded me of, was Stinky Pete.
But, honestly...
Okay, back to this. No, but this...
Meanwhile...
But this movie was a deep dive into the 80s kick of dolls.
Yes, and I can see that.
And dolls were everywhere in the 80s. Every kid either had a My Buddy or a Teddy Ruxpin or one of those dolls that either talked or you pulled a string and it talked.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big hit thing in the 80s. And to take that and make a horror movie out of it to can petrify kids and adults, that's what made this movie as popular as. Plus, this sarcasm on top of everything made it more enjoyable. I mean, you think about it, if you think of the big three, Freddy is the only one that talks. And he's sarcastic and funny throughout his movies while he's doing it. Chucky is kind of the same way. He's sarcastic. Some of his lines are not supposed to be funny, but after a while they get funny. Like the part where he hits Andy in the back of the head and he says, "Batter up." That was repeated in my grandmother's house religiously as a kid. When he goes into the doll, the voodoo part, every single kid in the neighborhood did that to each other just to see if it would work.
Like the Bloody Mary thing.
Yes, that and Candyman.
Yes,
but
Candyman's still done today. Bloody Mary has kind of died off.
But back to the premise, I really liked it because it was, for me now, it's different. And I'm just talking about because this was the first time I ever saw it. Murderer goes into doll, still murderer, and keeps going. And
yeah, because I mean, think about it. He can't. Nobody suspects it's a doll.
No, they suspect.
He can go back to the doll. He can go back to the doll form whenever he wants and make everybody look crazy.
They suspected the kid, and I think his name was Andy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Toy Story, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I remembered.
I bet he didn't have Andy on the bottom of his shoe.
Okay. So now that we've kind of talked about how we liked the premise surrounding the movie, which one of those murders was your favorite? And I'm going to start with Ryan because I'm pretty sure Susie needs to think about it.
Well, if you think about it for this movie, there's only four. I'm sorry, four kills in the entire movie.
There really wasn't enough to pick a favorite.
No, my favorite one is his voodoo guy.
Yes.
Again, the whole holding a voodoo doll and killing somebody without touching them made the whole voodoo thing even that more powerful. Not to mention, and I mentioned this in the one that you screwed up on,
Hey,
the guy looked like Bill Cosby.
Yes.
The guy was a Bill Cosby ripoff, which made it even funnier.
Well, I mean, it
Especially
makes
now.
it funny now. Back then, not so much, but like now.
Don't stab me in the pudding.
I mean, for me, yeah, the voodoo guy ranks up there for me. But I think my favorite, or like my least anticipated, was the babysitter, the mom's best friend.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Just because he really didn't have a need to kill her. It was just she was there.
Okay, well,
because the bitch, you know why she died? Because the bitch turned the TV off.
Yeah.
That's why she died.
I understand that you're a psychopathic murderer, but like,
note to self: don't turn the TV off ever.
Yeah. If the doll wants to watch the 9 o'clock news, you let the 9 o'clock news play.
Honestly, I gotta go for mine. I gotta go with what Ryan said, the voodoo, because that brought like a whole different like kind of shock they went there kind of thing. I was like, he didn't even touch the guy, and he's just like, oh,
Sure, how you want it? Broken leg?
And just hearing it in my head again, and I think Susie and I, when we were watching it, every time we heard the crunch, we were like, oh shit.
what? You mentioned it, and I got the squeamishes. Thank you.
But this isn't going to be like a terribly long episode. But I love this, and it's making me start the Chucky series that I think is on USA or Sci-Fi. The new season's coming out soon, but I want to go back and watch the movies and the series.
Well, I know you were on vacation and you lost track of everything, but it has already started.
Oh, well, shit.
And you watch the movies first.
Okay. Anything else, Ryan, you want to touch? Because Chucky is your dude. Child's Play is your bread and butter here. Anything else you want to touch on that we'll kind of comment on following you?
I don't know. It's just these movies are always, all of them are fun. Some of them get a little far-fetched, way out there. I mean, I say far-fetched and it's a killer doll, but some of them, they towards the end they start getting more into the voodoo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gets mundane.
Is that where the Bride of Chucky shit comes from?
Yeah, but the Bride is the first one of the ones that are just called Chucky.
Okay.
In a way, something of Chucky. That one's good. Then it gets really, really weird, and then it comes back with the last two movies, Curse and Cult. Those are pretty good, but for me, like Susie was saying about how the time period without CGI, the newer the movie gets, to me, the worse
Yes.
the features are of Chucky, because they all turn to CGI. And I love the first three because they actually use a little person as part of the child as Chucky's movements, and it makes it more realistic. Like, you haven't moved into them yet, but when you watch the second and third one, there's a scenes in both movies where it's Chucky running and he climbs into something.
Okay.
And all you see is his feet dangling. And all you can do is laugh at it because it looks like little kids' feet dangling out of the bottom of a bus. It's funny how those movies were better as far as that because they didn't use CGI, whereas the newer ones, even the show does, and it kind of loses it for me. The remake, I can't tell you about it because I've never seen it. don't ever want to see it because it's not Brad Dourif playing Chucky. It's your guy Mark Hamill. So I've never even watched it. I've been told by a friend that I'm going to be forced to watch it here soon.
So what I've
So
heard
I'm not
about
looking to that, but I'm gonna.
what I've heard about the new one is that it's not as good as the original, and if you walk into it expecting it to be like the original, you're gonna be disappointed. I've heard different things about Mark Hamill voicing Chucky. I haven't seen it myself yet because again, I like watching the old stuff before I watch the remakes, and except for it I refuse to go near. That was.
What's wrong with Tim Curry, huh?
I love Tim Curry. It was not a thing against Tim Curry. I do not like the 90s it. Don't like it. It is the only thing to have given me.
I beg to differ. The '90s it was better than the movies because the original it's not a movie; it's a mini series.
Oh no, I will never contest which one is better than the other. I cannot watch the Tim Curry version, and I love Tim Curry.
Ryan, it's called Scaredy Bitch Syndrome, which I have too.
Scared of clowns?
Scared of everything.
Because my wife's scared of clowns, and I show her scary clowns. Like, this is my bread and butter.
I mean, she married you, so she can't be too afraid of clowns.
Yeah.
Ha ha. Yeah, at least I can remember to hit the record button, jackass.
I did hit the record button. It played. It's just,
you screwed something up.
But yeah, I think all of the old, like, I don't like remakes. I think for all intents and purposes, like, it being the best example that I can think of. Because I don't want to touch the other one because we haven't covered it yet. But I think like everyone likes the 90s versions. A lot of people like the remakes. I prefer the remakes. And if you were ever in my household growing up, we watched a lot of Tim Curry. Like, I grew up on Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, Tim Curry was part of my life. It is the only movie that I can't watch with Tim Curry in it. And it's because he does such a great job at being it that I
love Clue.
So it's hard, but like I definitely think that the originals, like 80s, 90s, they got it right, and the remakes are trying to catch up.
So back to the topic at hand, because we've taken multiple left turns, not heading towards Albuquerque here.
Excuse me, I took a right turn.
Who the hell wants to go to Albuquerque?
It was a Looney Tunes reference.
I know, but still, who wants to go to Albuquerque?
People that maybe.
It does.
Okay, fuck you. So, with this being back to 1988's Child's Play, I had fun with it. Susie had fun with it. It's one of Ryan's favorite movies. I can't wait to kind of watch the rest of the series and then start the seasons on. Is it on USA or Sci-Fi? Because it shows them both.
I think it plays on both. I don't have live at the moment, so I'm just watching it.
You're using it off of me. Got
streaming
it.
Service. Ha! You have the heart.
I think it's on both.
Well, I had fun. Unfortunately, we had to do this all over again, which, hey, I'm happy you were free, Ryan. Susie's, kind of always free. But now that she started a new job, so she's tired.
You made it sound like I don't have a life.
You don't. You don't.
It revolves around podcasts and work.
Boom, there it is. Ryan, where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me on social media at WOE _fry. Trying to work on a TikTok, just haven't gotten there yet. Follow me on Facebook. I'm involved with the group Wrestling Over Everything. I'm not an admin, but I'm always involved. Anything and everything wrestling we chat about.
And Susie, I know your answer, and here it is. It's going to be whipping my ass. But where else can people find you?
Well, I am an admin at Nerds Doing Nerd Things, both the Facebook page and our group page. So make sure to check us out there. I'm currently trying to figure out next year's schedule for our podcast and debating on how long AJ would like to host some things because he's pushing buttons.
I'm good at pushing buttons, as we know.
If you were good at pushing buttons, we wouldn't have had to redo this.
You just, how do you like that one there, pal?
Susie verified earlier before we hit the live button here that it was showing up. It was registering. So fuck you.
But you're the one that pushed the mute button.
I don't know why. I don't know what would have caused me to hit your mute button. That makes no sense at all. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying it made no sense. Because even when I clicked it on here, you were fine. It's bullshit. Some baby back bullshit. So, next week it's Friday the 13th, which I did verify. It works. I then sent the audio clip to Ryan. We heard James, and then we heard Ryan, so we're good. We're good. But later this week, we're going to have an episode of Andor. That's going to cover episode 5 and 6. And then also on Thursday, because what the fuck am I doing to myself, we're going to talk about episode 7 and 8 for House of the Dragon. So this is going to be fucking entertaining.
Hey, those 2 episodes were fucking entertaining. So
I'm getting really tired of the time jumps. Very tired of it. Okay.
Hey, AJ, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Where can people find you?
Oh, yeah, about that. Where Mr. Rob Paulson says so.
Hey, you guys, this is 625 here from Lilo and Stitch. Some people think of me as AJ Coppola. I don't care. Just follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Twitch at NDTA Jalistar 15, and Xbox and PSN at AJ All-Star 15. I should have said AJ All-Star, but I'm a sandwich maker. What the hell do I know? Do yourself a favor. Go get yourself a hot fudge marshmallow tuna fish and ham sandwich. All right? Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Go. All right, everybody. Well, check us next week for the Friday the 13th episode. Want to give a huge shout out once again to Ryan for joining us, Susie for, also being here, and our good buddy James Fair for making all the art for this Nerd-Tober season. We'll see you next week or later on this week, depending on what you tune in on. But stay safe, stay cool, and don't do anything stupid.
Stay cool. It's more like stay warm. It's freaking 40 degrees outside in the morning. What are you? What drugs are you taking?
Like hit the mute button. Hey. We're friends to the end, remember?
Yeah. If you didn't make fun of me, you didn't care.
Exactly.
Well, this is the end in the podcast.
All right, everybody. See you later. I'm going to go do something other stupid.
Long walk off a short pier.
Yeah. I'm going to push Susie down the stairs where the bad people might be. The blonde is always the first to die.
He would push me down the stairs first, just so that he wouldn't die, even though I would have taken care of the bad guy. So
I have something to say there, but I won't say it, so I'll just leave it alone.
Oh shit. All right, everybody, bye before I dig myself even further of a hole. See ya.
To stay up to date with the show, join the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page. See you next time.